So the OCG just had their first set of events post Rage of the Abyss, and first place was the Ice Barrier Atlantean deck, and I want to talk about that deck in details comparatively to all the other decks that are in the format, and just give my opinions on Atlanteans here in the OCG and how we can change it or get ideas from them, and then obviously transition it into the TCG. So let's just look at the list. The first thing that pops up that is kind of different from standard Mermail list, at least in current day Yu-Gi-Oh, is the one Teus. Teus is usually a 3 of, but I guess they wanted to find more space for stuff like the Ice Barrier engine. As you see, they are playing that, and they're also playing like less copies of stuff like Bodyguards in the Abyss Rhine, which are the two new main deck monsters that came out in Rage of the Abyss, probably just to play more hand traps like Ash Blossom, Maxi, Droll. It looks like they're playing about 17 non-engine. Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 17. I guess it's like 3, 6, 9, 12, and then 14 hand traps, but I also include like the call by and the cross out, which is a lot of like going second card, by the way. Mermail used to be a deck where you couldn't really rely on hand chops a lot, because besides like Diva, like Neptibus wasn't like a one card combo. It was like such a bad one card combo. But now, since Neptibus is like a super good one card combo, and a lot of these cards are really good in 2-card combinations, it's probably better to play more hand traps in this deck more than like board breakers that you usually used to play in current day Mermails comparatively to post Rage of the Abyss. Something else I note is that they're also playing like 3 or 2 copies of both of these new Atlantean / Mermail cards, which I would say I'd probably play like 3 copies of Bodyguard because it's good in combination with Teus, but they're also playing one Teus, so I guess it's fine in that regard. Something else I'm noticing here is that they're playing one Minstrel. I think Minstrel is a one of, even in the TCG, because we're going to have the new Pirellia or not Pirellia, the new Molcharmy card, which is not really good when you have Minstrel and they max you, or they use the Molcharmy and they draw into more hand traps. So it just doesn't make sense. I only use this card to get out hand traps like Nibiru or any other cards that would kind of destroy me after I combo for a little while. So Minstrel is definitely just a one of, I feel like, especially in the OCG when they have Maxi. Something else to note is that they're playing one Diva. Diva is definitely like worse in a format with a lot of hand traps like Ash Blossom, Impermanent Veiler. So especially like Dominus Impulse, I think also can stop it. I'm not sure to be honest, but there's just a lot of cards that could stop Diva, and Diva is just so vulnerable to hand traps. So I'm interested to see the development with Diva. I still think it's a really strong card, and if you play it, it's fine, but maybe we'll see in the future. Maybe this is like a 1 of, maybe it's a 3 of, maybe it's a 0 of. We're just gonna have to wait and see. For now, I think it's fine to play one, but I don't know. It's really difficult to understand this card right now, because it could be like a situation with Unchained and Tour Guide. A lot of people are like, Tour Guide isn't that good because it just gets stopped and then you don't really have a play, but that's not really true. Unchained has a lot of extenders, and I guess the same is for stuff like Mermail, because you have stuff like Teus, you have stuff like Adrian, other stuff that you can extend on, like 1-for-1, that can also help you extend and push through a lot of interruptions. So definitely interesting to see. They're also playing the new Charmer card that searches stuff like Teus and Adrian. Would be better if it searched monsters that are higher than the discard or lower than the discarded monster rather than higher, because it would give you access to more Neptibus, which Neptibus is like the centerpiece of the combo. So probably, I don't know. I would have like changed this card a bit, but it's fine. It definitely searches good cards like Teus and Adrian, which is pretty nice. I think that's it for the main deck. I guess they're also playing the Equip spell. I'm not playing that in my list. I'm playing it in the side deck, just because it's like a really bad brick, but I guess they find it worth to play. Oh, also to note, they're not playing Moon Glacia. Moon Glacia is pretty interesting to see, Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I feel like it's really good, even with Maxi and the new Molcharmy card. But I don't know. Maybe they just prefer having just less bricks in the deck, and I guess Moon Glacier is a brick. But I don't know. I'm not sure about this. I'm also playing the Silicant, line. I think this is really good. But I guess they're playing the Ice Barrier stuff, so it doesn't really matter. Something key to note in the extra deck is that they don't have Totally Awesome, so they're going for the Abyss Stride Deity line into like the Ice Barrier stuff and etc. etc. I think that's pretty nice. I think it's pretty cool, especially because you have access to, I think it's a level 10. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 3, 6, 9. I think it's 10. Yeah, 10. So you can get access to the Ice Barrier Synchro with the Adrian, which is pretty nice. So yeah, another thing I note in the extra deck is they're not playing Alacia, which I am playing 2 copies of. I think maybe you could find space for like something else in the extra deck. Oh yeah, Zealantis. Zealantis is something that I was playing in my deck, but they're also playing as well. I think this card is like really insane with Coral Anemone, because if you don't know the Coral Anemone or any of the marine sets that lock you plus the Zealantis combo is basically if you resolve Coral Anemone and then you use the Zealantis effect, nothing comes back unless it's a water. So you could just banish their monsters for free, which is nice. I really like Zealantis as just removal. Besides having like the deity to like non-target spin 3 cards back to the hand, which is like pretty cool. Something else I would note is like Abyss Dweller. I'm using that in the side deck. You can also main deck this card. It just depends on which you prioritize in the extra deck. Something else to note in the extra deck, not really. Just playing like Ice Bear stuff like the Coral, the Ravenous Crocosaur, Dragite. I guess they're playing 2 Deity because I believe they make it in a turn 1 combo, and you also want to have it on the follow-up as well, which is pretty nice. Nothing else too crazy. They're not playing a SP, which is fair enough because you're locked in the water most of the time. I do like the utility of SP. We can quickly look at the side deck. 1 Minstrel on the side is kind of interesting. Not really sure why you would play an extra copy. As I said before, you only really want to have this just to like hit cards out of your opponent's hand like Nib that would heavily punish you if you play into it. So pretty interesting to see this. I guess they want more waters going first, I guess. I don't know. Talents in the side deck as well. Pretty good card. I really like this card. If we were playing less hand traps in our format, I would play Talents at like 3 in my deck. Spooky Dogwood is interesting because, as you see in my list, I am playing the Parelia, and the main reason why I'm main decking this card is not only that it is a good card going second, but it's also a water monster. So I see the same thing for something like Dogwood, is that it's a really good card in like time, at least in the TCG. I don't know what reason they have in the OCG, but in the TCG it's really good for time, but as well as being a card that is really good because it's a water, so you can like discard it if you still have it in your hand, or it's a 6 card in your hand when you draw for turn. You can also like discard it with other stuff. So pretty interesting to look at. But yeah, I think this Mermail deck is pretty nice. I want to see more from this deck in the future. It is pretty cool to also see the Dominus Impulse in the main deck as well, because as you see with all the Atlantean monsters, they pretty much lock you with the new cards. So you're only playing waters, and that's pretty much it. So Dominus Impulse is like a really strong card, being just like a card that just stops special summons, which is pretty strong. Nothing really else to know. I'm like pretty sure. Yeah, the only like big difference is that we don't have Toad, so it's definitely a good route to have something like the Ice Bearers to have a more solid win condition, because you just don't have Toad in the OCG. So that is it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the OCG list that just topped this Osaka event, and let me know what you guys take away from this list. So that is it, guys. I am out. Peace.